Well, that was Jerod Mayo on this show yesterday, and we talked about this earlier, but some who heard that as Jerod Mayo saying that Mac Jones is very talented and that he might consider giving Mac Jones another run at it, Wiggy.
I don't buy it. And if it was...
Well, did you not hear that the way he said that?
No, I heard, that he was fragile, that maybe the coaches didn't help that, but they're on to the next guy.
That's how you be nice to someone who's bad. Like you say, of course he's talented, like he's in the NFL.
Right.
But he sucks when it comes to actually being in the NFL. Like it's,
That was the thing I heard, what Scheim just said, when he says, well, obviously he's here for a reason. He's in the NFL. He's talented. But it's a mental aspect.
It's like even when they, during the season when they asked Billy O about him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he can play in this league." Well, can he play on your team? Because if somebody's talented, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I mean, he's gonna have an amazing future. This is what we see out of him." But when they're like, "Oh yeah, he can play in the league," meaning that, well, he's probably gonna have to find another job elsewhere.
Who was Mac's guy?
Who was his guy?
Yeah. Billy O'Brien, the guy you went to go speak to when he was at Alabama, the guy that he brought back, the guy he credited after the Bills' comeback win at Gillette Stadium. There was a power struggle, which was behind the scenes, but it's pretty apparent to me that Billy O was very talkative to the local press, which gave him a long runway to have an awful offensive season. And in my view, Bill O'Brien was leaking to Bedard that Jerod Mayo was rubbing people the wrong way. And what happened at the end of the year was we all heard that Billy O'Brien wanted to stay, and then he lands at a college offensive coordinator gig at Ohio State. So any shot of Mac returning left with Bill O'Brien from my position.
Right, and then you got the new guy, it clearly seems like the new offensive coordinator is going to be somebody not named Josh McDaniels, and we know definitely not Billy O'Brien.
Right.
So now, who's the new guy that comes in, and what's he looking for?
Is Mac on the roster at least, or does somebody want him elsewhere?
Well, that's why he's speaking positively, because and unlike Bill Belichick, don't damage an asset.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully build him back up and get, a conditional 6th or 7th.
You probably keep him around and you trade him, and Zappy is your backup to the veteran.
I don't think he's around, because if we're talking about the mental aspect of it, and he didn't say that he was going to confirm it, but when it came to the locker room and being split, if it's all locker room issues, why would you want to keep him around?
I think that's the big thing, is the locker room thing. And so he'll deal him because he wants to make sure that this locker room is unified. In my opinion, Jerod Mayo is a player's coach. So to him, how that locker room feels on a day-to-day basis is almost his top priority. And so therefore, Mac Jones being in the locker room is negative to that.
And I think the locker room is going to become way different than what you're seeing right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of new people that are going to be all Jerod's guys, or they're going to be coming in for a guy who's bringing them in.
And what do you think Jerod Mayo feels about Mac Jones and what he impacted last year regarding the defense that Jerod was leading? Where you're in games where literally if the offense just took a knee the whole game, you'd have a better shot of winning. How many times did Mac Jones provide the offensive spark for the opposing team?
Yeah. He sounded like yesterday when I think I asked about the coaches letting Mac down, and he said essentially that everybody, coaches, special teamers, offense, defense, everybody was constantly trying to prop him up. Like doing little mini one-on-one therapy sessions.
Hey, it's going to be all right. You're doing a great job, man. Don't worry. Keep your head up, bro. You be good. Don't worry, but don't
do some breathing exercises.
Forget what
emergency breathing exercises. Stat.
Forget what they saying. You our guy. That's all that matters. We love you in here, Mac. And then it's like, damn, when's Zappy getting in there? And I think that's a bit. If you had to choose,
but what do you mean by the locker room is going to be completely different? Roster is going to be different in many areas, but I don't think the locker room.
Greg, what are you talking about? How did that feel yesterday in that room? Just us with Stacy and Jerod versus Bears and Bill. It was a totally different environment in the same exact room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't hear of? Did you hear that there was an angry locker room last season? I mean, I
No,
I
but you
didn't-
don't expect the locker room to feel looser with that kind of coach. Like that video, remember, of Bailey Zappi coming in and like getting all excited with Bill O'Brien and then having to shake Belichick's hand. Like that won't exist.
Right.
There won't be any of that like walking on eggshells the same way.
And the roster had more leaks than the Trump White House. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the Herald. Is that reflective of a locker room that's united?
What do you think Patriots Fridays and Patriots Mondays are going to be like when these guys come on? When Zappi goes on, Jones and Mego, he's going to be completely different. And when I say Zappi, whoever that quarterback is, whether it's Hunter Henry or Lawrence
So
Guy.
they're gonna feel like they got out of prison, like they're prison pen pal Joe or whatever, like they just got released.
Yeah, they're going to be, they're probably going to start talking about how they feel and not being afraid to say it because they're going to hear Mayo talking and Mayo giving his truth and talking about how he sees things. And then I think that's going to just trickle down to guys when they, when they're doing interviews or things like that. And they're not going to feel like, well, we're just, they're good, but we just got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do.
See, Texter, Subaru of New England text line, which is 37937. Find your authorized Subaru retailer at subaruofnewengland.com. Believes that Robert Kraft is so invested in Mac Jones that he's going to want Jerod Mayo to try to fix that.
Well, I think Robert Kraft loves how limited the investment is in the quarterback and would rather pay that amount than what it would cost for, say, Kirk Cousins. But I do not believe you can turn over a new leaf. Turn the page, turn over the leaf.
Ooh, turn the page, rejoin.
Oh, Bob Seger, absolutely.
Turn the page, cha.
God, you've never sounded older. So I would say that you cannot do that with Mac Jones, who, as Courtney alluded to, is a polarizing figure, to say the least.
Which is why it makes even more sense that they would draft a quarterback with that number 3 overall pick. Right. So you're still paying a new quarterback on a rookie contract. You can get Mac Jones out of here to kind of recraft the environment within the locker room, and then you move forward.
And you could spend money.
Is that recraft it with a K?
And then you could spend money to bring in the guys that you want. You could bring in your Mike Evans, your T. Higgins. You could probably even bring in both of those guys. And you could bring in a couple offensive linemen. You could bring in, whatever other position
But is
that you're
Bill
looking
being
for.
gone enough when it comes to Mac Jones being salvageable?
No, I don't think Mac is salvageable.
His
Well,
whole
he's just like a puddle of his feelings. Like he's
Yes.
not an adult. He
Wouldn't
can't
you hold a chip if you were him against?
No, because Bill's gone.
But it wasn't just Bill. It was us. It was the fan, not you. It was the fan base. There was reported that his family got up and left in the middle of a game because the fans were so bad. Like
I reported that.
Mac Jones will not start a game for any team in 2024.
Well, you know what it is, Greg?
Oh, come on, Shine.
Yeah, I agree.
I love when Shime
Change it.
says something with his whole chest, though.
Yeah, like
I really
I'm
do.
dead serious. He will not start a game
The
for
chest
any
is getting
team in
smaller, though,
2024.
by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Brock Purdy is playing in an AFC.
Yeah, because
in an
Brock
NFC
Purdy was an
championship game this
MVP
weekend.
candidate, Greg. Like he was minus 200 to win the MVP in like week 15.
It was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes, because he's like good. Mac Jones isn't good. It doesn't matter.
What was the biggest thing Mayo said about Mac? What was the thing that he talked about that affected him the most?
Honestly, before Greg, you answer that, I think it was that we found out he's a listener to the show. No Moss Gathers just tweeted us. The way that Mayo said we should do a poll about Mayo Mondays showed a subliminal knowledge about our program, and that he believes him to be an actual daily listener of the show.
okay.
He's a P1.
Yeah.
All right.
What up, Mayo? So, what do you think when we heard Mayo talk about Mac Jones? What was his biggest issue?
Confidence.
Confidence. And as a former player, which Mayo is, and being a former player,
You're a former player?
yes, I am. I don't know if
Okay.
you noticed that. When a guy loses confidence, it is very difficult to be able to get that back for a player. Very difficult.
It's like when Greg makes all those fat jokes and really tries to shoot down my confidence to lose weight.
Amen.
But I mentally
Right.
am able to power
You're
through.
strong
I'm like
enough.
Mac
Right,
Jones.
you're strong.
You have the fortitude.
You're strong.
Thick
Exactly.
skin.
How about
Oh,
is
don't mock his
there any
skin.
kind of a confidence issue for Brock Purdy when he finds out that they really wanted Tom Brady to start for them?